I'm Morgan Hoover. Join us weeknights for WNKY News 40 at 5.
Want justice? Go to judgejudy.com. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
What's next? Trampoline. Let's get to the trampoline. When was it purchased?
It was in November, Your Honor, of 2016.
A year ago. 2 years ago.
Yes. We were at Old Stump Brewery having a beer, Your Honor.
Listen to me, I don't care. All right, next. I have $450 for Botox. What's next?
Your Honor, let me finish talking about this.
I'm telling you to go next.
But it was for her kids.
Next.
It was for your kid, too.
Next.
But you said you were going to pay it back.
How was I going to pay it back when you knew I wasn't working?
Do you want me to
and didn't have a
dismiss your
job?
case? You have one other bill.
So we went to Vegas for her daughter's cheer competition, Your Honor, and she agreed to pay half of the hotel stay, which she never paid.
And how much was the room?
It ended up being $349.
$350 for the room.
Correct.
Okay, that's $175 for her.
Correct.
That's $625 for Botox and half her room. We're done. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And on the next Judge Judy.
My opinion's the only one that counts.
Glad it's done. It's over.
I was tired of her taking advantage of my generosity.
Honestly, I think it's more of a jealousy issue.
I don't know what I'm jealous of.
I'm just glad it's over with.
Good riddance.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight for News 40 at 5. I'm Morgan Hoover.
And I'm Chris Allen. Welcome to a Monday that seems to show the arrival of not just the rain, but also the cold air.
Right. It really feels like fall.
It now.
It's cold. It's a little dreary.
Yeah, it's been that kind of a day, and even the live radar, showing that most of the rain is now gone. There's still some sprinkles out there, but that'll be leaving us as well. And as a matter of fact, back to the west, we're beginning to see some signs of clearing. Look, first of all, Hart County, I-65, mile marker 73 going northbound. Still cloudy there, 42. But in Todd County, near Elkton, look at that picture from the Kentucky Mesonet site, and we're seeing some sun breaking through some of the clouds that are left over. Tonight, though, as the clouds depart, freeze warning goes into effect, clearing and cold for the first time since March 27. I'll take a look at a chilly 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Morgan?
All right, Chris, our top story tonight. The man accused of killing a young Bowling Green woman appeared in court today, but it seems his next court appearance has been pushed back. David Prophet, seen here entering the courtroom with his attorneys this morning, is charged with strangulation, abuse of a corpse, and theft of an automobile, along with a few other charges. He's accused of killing 22-year-old Alexandra Heman in August of this year. Grisly details of the murder were unveiled during a preliminary hearing, and today, prosecutors say more discovery has been made. The next court date will be in February of next year. On more local news now, a local 17-year-old just got a big-time award, the Josie Music Awards. It's an association that celebrates independent artists. And a Hart County native just grabbed one for herself. News 40's Michael Ridgway joins us in the studio with more details.
That's right. Hardyville resident Kara Bishop just received an award from the Josie Music Awards Association, being named Country Music Artist of the Year under the age of 18. Out of almost 60,000 submissions, she was in the top 2%. I spoke to her and a couple of other people in her life about this big accomplishment.
Yeah, the first place I ever sung publicly was in this gym, so it's really cool to kind of be back here. I mean, I've sung in talent shows, I've done shows, obviously, but I think, yeah, the first place I sung was in here.
A lot of times, no. She sits in her bedroom, writes. She'll stay up all hours of the night writing, and a lot of times we don't get to hear it until it's done, so We can't sing, we can't play instruments. She just, anything she picks up, she teaches herself how to do it, so.
She has a lot of talent that I wish I could draw. I wish that I could write songs. I can sing a little bit, but I can't sing like her. So she's started getting on my radar then as a kid, she has some talent.
I was excited because I got to go up on the stage and I got to be in the circle for the Grand Ole Opry, which, if you know anything like the backstory of that, the circle is super important. I mean, everybody stood there. Every country music person has stood there. Dolly Parton, Taylor Swift, who I personally really like. So many famous country music artists have stood there. So it was really cool to be like, oh, I'm in this spot with them, you know.
And I think it's really cool for our kids to be able to see her doing some cool things, because they could be like, hey, she sat in these desks that we're at now. You know, she walked the same halls that we're walking now. And so that dream doesn't seem as far away, if that makes sense.
This is like really basic, but probably just do all that you can, because, you know, you might get an opportunity and then you might be like, oh, well, no, I might do that next week. And then you realize that the opportunities are already like passed you up. So I would just say when you get an opportunity, take it.
You know, I tell mine all the time, life's short, enjoy it. You know, anything your kid wants to do, support them, you know, 110%. Let them live their dream. If they don't make it, you know, they can try something different. But never discourage them on, you know, something they look forward to doing.
Kara Bishop can be found on all streaming platforms. The young artist told me that she has some new stuff coming. She just asked that everyone be patient, as she's still a high school student, but she's definitely a talented individual. And if you're wondering what my favorite song is by her, it's Take a Piece. Morgan, back to you.
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Well, it officially feels like fall out there, meaning it is time to start raking up those leaves. Leaf pickup crews began making their way through the city's work zones today. Crews will pick up leaves in each zone for 2 days. You're asked to rake your leaves to the right-of-way of the street before your scheduled pickup date, making sure no leaves are in gutter lines, on sidewalks, or around fire hydrants. And also that the leaves are not in bags or any other debris in the piles. If you have questions, you are looking for your scheduled zone, visit the City of Bowling Green's Facebook page. Halloween is practically here. Kids are grabbing costumes, getting ready to run from house to house. But they need to be aware of the dangers that could be on the roadways. If you are of the legal age to consume alcohol, Kentucky State Police are encouraging everyone to consume responsibly. Do not drive under the influence. You may think that you may only be arrested or charged for 0.08% blood alcohol content, but you can actually be charged for much less.
The only real easy way to do that, to make sure that everything's okay, is if you consume alcohol, don't drive. If you consume drugs, don't drive. And it's as simple as that. Just make sure that you're not putting anybody else in danger, especially this time of year when you're going to have so many kids out on the roadway. Don't take the chance.
There are many forms of transportation you can use to avoid getting a DUI. There are ride-sharing apps where you can simply call a friend if you decide to have a little fun for the holiday. Well, another potential risk for your kids this Halloween, tainted candies. Some candies that look similar to the real thing can actually contain THC, Delta 8 or Delta 9 drugs. If you suspect your child's candy has these substances in them, make sure to contact the Warren County Drug Task Force immediately. If your child is exposed, call 911 or poison control. The most important thing you can do is check the candy to make sure it's okay to eat.
Many times these candies will look like gummy bears or other children's candy, and with Halloween coming up tomorrow, parents just need to be careful and make sure the gummy bear is in fact a gummy bear.
It can take various amounts of time for different drugs to set in and take effect, so it's important to remember if your child happens to eat these candies, call 911 or poison control immediately. Tomorrow is Halloween, but Christmas is right around the corner. The Bowling Green JCs are making an exciting announcement about their annual Christmas parade. The Grand Marshal has been announced. It is local musician Trevor Martin. The annual parade returns this year on December 2nd. There are just a few more weeks to get your organization registered for the parade. The deadline for entry is November 15th. Organizers say they are excited about the announcement of their Grand Marshal. Martin is not only a successful musician, but works to inspire those around him.
We just felt like he was someone we wanted to recognize for the things that he's doing, and I just feel certain he's going to be someone that we're going to all say, oh, we knew him when.
If you or someone you know wants to be in the parade, visit SokiFair.org. We'll have more on the upcoming Christmas parade tonight at 6. Happening around the Commonwealth, a former Louisville police officer is back in court facing charges for his actions that led to the death of Breonna Taylor. Brett Hankinson was serving a warrant that was later admitted to be falsified. Now he could be facing life in prison. Take a look.
Former LMPD Detective Brett Hankinson will be back in court Monday for the start of his trial. Hankinson was one of the officers attempting to execute a search warrant that led to the death of Breonna Taylor. The search warrant used was later said to have been falsified by LMPD officers, with one officer, Kelly Goodlett, admitting to the claims. Prosecutors say Hankinson violated the rights of Breonna Taylor, her boyfriend Kenneth Walker III, and several of her neighbors when police say he fired a total of 10 shots through a bedroom window covered with blinds and blackout curtains, as well as a sliding glass door. None of these shots actually hit Taylor. Hankinson has been the only officer that fired shots to be charged, as prosecutors found that Miles Cosgrove and John Mattingly were justified in shooting back. The trial for Hankinson was originally set to start in August, but his lawyers requested more time to go over what they call a massive amount of evidence and meet with experts to prepare. This isn't the first time Hankinson has been indicted, however. He was acquitted in March 2022 of charges that state prosecutors brought for endangering Taylor's next-door neighbors with the shots he fired through her apartment and went through the walls. In this case, Hankinson's attorney, Stuart Matthews, said that Hankinson shot into the apartment because he thought his fellow officers were in danger and he was moving to protect them. If convicted of his current trial, Hankinson could face a maximum of life in prison.
Well, still to come on News 40 at 5, diabetes is a disease that affects millions of Americans across the nation. We'll learn how to avoid some of its potential health issues in just a bit. But first, Weather Chief Chris Allen is back after the break with a full look at our cold forecast. It's coming up next.
WNKY News 40. Broadcasting live from the German American Bank studio in downtown Bowling Green.
What would Daniel Cameron's Medicaid plan mean for my patients?
He's threatening to take away health care coverage from over 95,000 Kentuckians.
It's very scary that people are not going to have health coverage.
People will not be able to see their doctors. People will not be able to buy medicines.
Many rural hospitals will end up closing their doors.
Cameron is still following his pal, Matt Bevin.
I don't know why you do that.
I don't think Daniel Cameron understands what Kentuckians are going through.
And that is not acceptable for a governor.
Home is more than a house. Wherever you are in your journey of homeownership, German American Bank is here to support you. Our team of dedicated mortgage loan professionals can help you with lending solutions featuring low or no down payment, assistance for closing costs and improvement projects, or even loans specifically for first-time home buyers. We're here to tell you, homeownership is achievable. German American Bank, member FDIC.
Morgan & Morgan is not only America's largest injury law firm, we're also the only injury law firm in the world with lawyers licensed in all 50 states. With dedicated attorneys focused on personal injury, medical malpractice, insurance disputes, and many others, we have a 30-year track record of getting results for clients just like you. So wherever you are, whatever you need, our firm is ready to take your call. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
When we hear that sound, the competition is on.
Wow, we certainly have a dramatic game ahead of us.
I'm taking a deep breath. I hope you are too.
Can you think quick enough?
It's very crazy.
And bet big enough?
12,400. Whoa, he's betting everything.
The stakes are high. The clock is ticking.
This is nerve-wracking.
Do you have what it takes for Jeopardy? Weeknights at 6 on WNKY NBC 40.
We're back with Weather Chief Chris Allen on this cold, dreary Monday. I know, I'm shivering.
Right before Halloween.
I know.
We've got the shivers. Bone-chilling cold.
Oh, that was good.
And it's going to be that way tomorrow night, too, for the trick-or-treaters. I know there's some of you moms out there who's going to make your kids wear a coat over their costume.
Yep.
That is not cool. I'm just saying. I had to do it as a kid, and I'm still suffering from it. It just left an impression on me. But anyway, here we go with the 4-hour clouds and radar together. We're showing back at 1 o'clock this afternoon, we had a lot of rain over the area, and that rain came down pretty good for a while. Now we're starting to see the clearing line just west of Bowling Green. Notice it right there. From about E-Town all the way to Hopkinsville and Elkton that you saw on one of the community cams, seeing that clearing line. It's going to happen, and once the skies begin to clear, that's when everything is really going to bottom out with temperature. Look at these impressive rainfall totals. Everything's rounded up to the nearest 10th, according to the Mesonet sites. 1 inch in E-Town. We had 3/10 here in Bowling Green. West of town, we had more than that. You can see Morgantown had 9/10, a half inch in Elkton, 1.3 inches of rain in Madisonville. So really some impressive totals for rain, and we needed that. We're still in a deficit situation, so that helped, but didn't get rid of the deficit totally. So that's what I was trying to say. 44 right now in Bowling Green. We see low 40s to the east and some mid to upper 40s west. That's because they've seen a little bit of sun before sunset, and so their temperatures came up just a little bit. We're still cloudy. We're seeing kind of an orange glow off in the distance. That's the clearing line coming toward Bowling Green. 44 right now with a northeast wind at 3, 79% humidity. Dew point at 38. That's getting dry. 30-19 and falling is your barometer, and that will start to go up too as we start to get some clearing in here. 53 was our high. That happened at 1 o'clock this morning. Since then, we've been in the 40s, and so far our low is 44 because it keeps going down as the temperatures continue to go down. So we're way back behind those normals for this time of the year, 13 degrees below normal. Here's a look at the next 40 hours. Rain departing the area. Here comes the northwesterly breezes that will take over. Now tomorrow, even though skies will start to clear tonight and early tomorrow, here comes a weak cold front that is going to slide in about mid-afternoon, and right about the time we start to get trick-or-treaters out there, this front's going to come through with some wind chills in the teens and 20s. That's why I said, you know, you may have to put a coat over their costumes. I hate that. But anyway, there could be some light rain or even flurries off to the north of us tomorrow evening. Then Wednesday, high pressure takes over and puts us back into some very nice weather. Trick-or-treating tomorrow night, cold treats. 42 to start, but I think the wind chill will also make us feel a lot colder than that. 27 tonight with a freeze warning in effect, clearing and cold and even a north wind at 6. And then tomorrow, still cold with a high of only 47. Chilly on Wednesday. Then we finally warm up into the 50s and 60s for the rest of the work week and into the upcoming weekend. Those temperatures are more normal for this time of the year. Here's what's coming up tonight on NBC 40.
Daniel Cameron's staunch position allowing for no exceptions in the case of rape or incest. It is an insult to the injury that these survivors have already made it through.
I'm not the first, and I won't be the last. And there are other little girls out there that need that choice.
And now, Attorney General Cameron is demanding access to the medical records of Kentucky women who go out of state for reproductive health care without their permission. That's extreme, and it's dangerous.
Join the WNKY News 40 weather team. Visit WNKY.com to become a weather watcher. Bowling Green Fireplace and Grill.
Hey y'all, it's Bree, and don't forget to tune in to the Pie Queen's Pantry this week. We're going to talk about what you can do with that leftover candy so that you can enjoy it more than the kids. See you this week on the Pie Queen.
This is my dad, Audie, and he is absolutely precious.
When it came to making some life-changing decisions for my mother, we found the folks here at Massey Springs to be so helpful.
They had that personal touch that we were looking for, and we could tell it was the perfect place for our mom.
We found the folks here at Massey Springs compassionate and caring.
Massey Springs was definitely the right choice for me and my dad.
Massey Springs Senior Living. Here, we're family. Schedule your tour with us today.
Just rockin' and rollin', baby.
Cut back tomorrow.
We got you all fixed up. Got it all fixed up for you, ma'am. Let there be light, ma'am.
Looks like she finally called JB.
In health news, more than 37 million people are living with diabetes in the U.S. It's a chronic disease that affects how your body turns food into energy, and it can cause severe damage to a person's body. Tonight, 5 ways to help prevent health problems from diabetes. It's a common disease, but millions of Americans may not even know they have diabetes, even though early detection is critical.
As soon as you can have the diagnosis made, the sooner the proper treatment can begin.
Diabetes can damage the eyes, kidneys, nerves, and heart.
If you have high blood glucose, you're more likely to have high blood pressure and high cholesterol. And those 3 factors, either independently and certainly working together, can damage the small vessels in our bodies.
You can prevent diabetes-related health problems by taking charge of your health. That includes adopting healthy lifestyle habits, like a sensible diet, physical activity, and getting adequate sleep is also important, as is managing stress and taking medicines on time.
Smoking also has a detrimental effect on your small blood vessels. And so, especially with people with diabetes, we want to suggest that they try to stop smoking.
Experts say small health changes over time can make a big difference and may not be as overwhelming.
You could begin to make choices that you are more likely to stick to.
The CDC's National Diabetes Statistics Report also estimates that around 96 million adults in the U.S. have pre-diabetes. That's when blood sugar levels are higher than normal, but not high enough to be diagnosed as type 2 diabetes. You can talk to a doctor about getting your blood sugar tested, especially if you are overweight, 45 years or over, or have a close relative with type 2 diabetes. Well, still to come on News 40 at 5, tensions rise as Israel expands its ground invasion in Gaza. When we return, we'll take a look at how the war has sparked a demand for more support in the fight against hate crimes. The details when we come back.
During the COVID pandemic, I fought against Washington's unconstitutional assault on our rights. In Kentucky, Daniel Cameron did the same. When Andy Beshear shut down our places of worship, Cameron led the fight to reopen churches, taking Governor Beshear to court, and Cameron won and ensured that you had the right to worship freely. That's why I'm voting for Daniel Cameron, because no matter the fight, Cameron will safeguard your rights.
Protect Freedom PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Are your basement walls bowing or cracked? USS is here to help. Cracks along your basement wall are telltale signs moisture is collecting in the soil against your foundation, causing the weakest point of your wall to bow. USS has the support you need with our innovative Invisibeam. It's the strongest carbon fiber strap on the market and the only one ICC certified with a lifetime warranty. Visit uss-ky.com for a free estimate.
We'll guarantee our best. Call USS.
If you've been injured, Morgan & Morgan can make getting a case started a breeze. It's easy. Just dial #law or go to forthepeople.com to get started.
Turn it off.
Former President Donald Trump is endorsing Attorney General Daniel Cameron in his run for governor of Kentucky.
Mr. President, I hope you can tell that Kentucky is Trump country.
I'm the only candidate endorsed by President Trump and the only candidate who stood up to Joe Biden. I fought the Biden agenda in court to defend Kentucky. Andy Beshear, he never will. As governor, I'll put Kentucky first, even when it's hard.
Hey y'all, it's Bree, and don't forget to tune in to the Pie Queen's Pantry this week. We're going to talk about what you can do with that leftover candy so that you can enjoy it more than the kids. See you this week on the Pie Queen.
The competition is on.
This is nerve-wracking.
Do you have what it takes for Jeopardy? Weeknights at 6 on NBC 40.
General Motors has reached a tentative labor deal with the United Auto Workers. If ratified, it will end the UAW's 6-week strike against Detroit's Big Three. Deals have previously been announced with Ford and Stellantis. The reported 4.5-year contracts, which include a 25% wage increase and an increase in starting wages to over $28 an hour, must still be ratified by union members. The strikes have reportedly cost GM, Ford, and Stellantis billions of dollars in lost production. The U.S. Treasury Department expects to borrow $776 billion in the final quarter of 2023. That's the most the government has ever borrowed during a fourth quarter. The forecast is $76 billion less than the estimate the Treasury made in August due to higher than anticipated tax collections in October. Treasury officials say that's partially a result of deferred tax collections from residents and corporations in states like California, where tax deadlines were extended due to extreme weather. As Israel expands its ground offensive in what Israel is calling the second stage in the Israel-Hamas war, back home in the U.S., Americans are experiencing record levels of anti-Semitism and Islamophobia. NBC's Alice Barr reports from Washington.
An escalating conflict in the Middle East is now a ground war, with Israel's forces pushing deeper into the Gaza Strip and today managing to rescue a hostage, a young female Israeli soldier from Hamas control. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu facing plummeting approval ratings at home and international pressure to relieve the suffering of Palestinian civilians, forcefully pushing back.
Calls for a ceasefire are calls for Israel to surrender to Hamas, to surrender to terrorism, to surrender to barbarism. That will not happen.
As Israel continues its relentless airstrikes, Netanyahu blaming Hamas for using civilians as human shields, while the U.S. State Department zeroes in on humanitarian shipments into Gaza, noting Israel restored phone and internet service under pressure from the U.S.
It is about ensuring that vital information flows, humanitarian coordination continues, and families can stay in touch.
The war is touching off new security concerns here in the U.S. and a sharp uptick in hate crimes, with Muslim leaders reporting more than 800 complaints since the beginning of October, while the Anti-Defamation League reports a nearly 400% increase in anti-Semitic acts from the same time last year.
What we're seeing today in America, it's not just the war on Israel. It is a war on all Jewish people.
With Cornell and George Washington universities both looking into incidents involving anti-Semitism, the Biden administration today announcing new steps to combat anti-Semitism and Islamophobia on college campuses. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Well, stay with us. We'll have a final look at your forecast coming up right after this.
At Infinity Pipeline, your family is our family. Our employees are the foundation of what we do. And what matters to you matters to us. We're now hiring the next generation of skilled workers to help grow our community. Apply now. InfinityPipeInc.com.
As Kentucky families struggle, Joe Biden brags.
Bidenomics is working.
Andy Beshear agrees. Beshear backed Biden's disastrous economic policies. Now he's endorsing Biden for re-election.
This president delivered.
For Andy Beshear, he did, giving $250,000 to fund his agenda.
I want to thank the president.
Beshear's with Biden. Trump backs Daniel Cameron. If you stand with Trump, vote Cameron for governor. Club for Growth Action is responsible for the content of this ad.
There's nothing quite as cozy and comfortable as a recliner from Ford's, like this power recliner in top grain leather with cup holders, phone charger, and lumbar support for only $8.99. Or this leather swivel glider for only $6.99. Now at Ford's Furniture.
My opponent's campaign is built on attacks and lies. But you know me, and you know it isn't true. We've been through a lot together, and now we're building the Commonwealth we've always dreamed of. We're a leader in economic growth, tens of thousands of new jobs, our lowest unemployment rate ever, delivering on major infrastructure projects and bringing high-speed internet everywhere. We're building a bright future here for all of our families.
It's time, y'all. It's a new season from my new home in NYC.
Weekdays at 3 on NBC 40.
What would Daniel Cameron's Medicaid plan mean for my patient?
He's threatening to take away health care coverage from over 95,000 Kentuckians.
It's very scary that people are not going to have health coverage.
People will not be able to see their doctors. People will not be able to buy medicines.
Many rural hospitals will end up closing their doors.
Cameron is still following his pal, Matt Bevin.
I don't know why you do that.
I don't think Daniel Cameron understands what Kentuckians are going through.
And that is not acceptable for a governor.
Welcome back, Chris. I hate to say it, but I am going to be one of those moms that has their kids in a jacket over her Halloween costume tomorrow, and I hate to do it, but it's just part of it.
I know, I get it.
It's going to be cold.
It stained me for life, though, when it happened to me.
Ruined your outfit.
Yes, it did. 27, skies are already clearing. Freeze warning tonight. That means any plant that you have outdoors tonight, that would kill it. That'll put an end to the growing season altogether. And don't forget pipes and water faucets, things like that too.
Absolutely.
Need to be taken care of.
Absolutely, Chris. All right, thank you so much. Thank you at home. We will see you at 6 over on CBS.